Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including new details for Tesla's Mexico factory, the latest Tesla price drops, hardware for delivering on new Teslas, and more, so let's get into it. First up today, we've heard a lot of rumors about Tesla's new factory in Mexico, and now that Tesla has officially confirmed they are moving forward with this factory, more information is trickling out. We first heard Nuevo Leon might be the location of their new factory back in August, when Elon held a meeting there with Governor Samuel Garcia and other local officials. In December, a local newspaper reported that factory would start by building components for current Tesla models and could later possibly build a new model at a lower cost than other factories. Then last month, Foreign Minister Marcelo Ebrard teased that Tesla would soon have some good news after meeting with several Tesla executives. That good news came at Tesla's Investor Day on March 1st, when they officially announced their Gigafactory would be in Nuevo Leon. Overall, they didn't reveal many details, but they did say that their factory will be built just outside of Monterrey, Nuevo Leon, and that it will build Tesla's next-generation vehicle platform. Now, Governor Garcia has confirmed that Tesla secured a 4,200-acre piece of land. According to Electrek, that's about twice the size of the plot they secured for Giga Texas, and all of its adjacent projects. Garcia also confirmed that Tesla plans to spend $5 billion on all phases of the factory. For comparison, Giga Texas was a $10 billion investment, and once all phases are complete, will employ about 20,000 people. Garcia said Tesla plans to employ 7,000 people at this new factory. In addition to those jobs, the new factory could introduce thousands more jobs to the area by attracting additional suppliers. As for the timeline, we heard a rumor last week that Tom Zhu, Tesla's head of automotive, said they could construct the new factory faster than they did at Giga Shanghai. That would mean the whole process could take less than 9 months. Garcia has now confirmed that Tesla plans to be producing vehicles out of that factory next year. That somewhat contradicts the timeline for their next generation vehicle that they discussed at Investor Day, so this should be taken with a grain of salt, or they could be adding capacity to a vehicle they currently make, like the Model Y, before they start on their next gen platform. Next up today, it's been feeling like Tesla raises and lowers prices whenever they feel like it lately. They are constantly balancing demand with production capacity, and the result of that is frequent price changes. Due to supply chain difficulties, inflation, and strong demand, they've gradually increased prices across their entire lineup over the last few years. But at the beginning of 2023, they dramatically dropped all their vehicle prices, seemingly out of nowhere. Most notably, they dropped the price of the Model Y, their most popular car, up to $13,000 from its peak of $65,990. They dropped the prices of their other models as well, and that caused orders to surge. They then started gradually increasing prices again. After these increases, the long-range Model Y is now today $54,990, and the performance Model Y $58,990. The Model Y is no longer capped at $55,000 to qualify for the IRS tax incentive in the US, so Tesla could theoretically keep increasing that price up to the new $80,000 cap if the demand were there for it. At the same time, the rear-wheel drive Model 3 has gone down even further. They reduced it by another $500, bringing the base price of that car to $42,990, and the performance is sitting at $53,990, just below the $55,000 MSRP cap. Now they've dropped the price of the Model S and X again, bringing these particular configurations to the lowest price we've seen yet. They dropped the Model S and X by $5,000 and $10,000 respectively. Before the price cuts, the Model S long range was $94,990, now it's down $5,000 to $89,990. The Model S Plaid used to be $114,990 and is now $109,990. The Model X long range all-wheel drive was $109,990 and now starts just under six figures at $99,990. Wonder how many times I can say 990. This is definitely the cheapest we've seen the Model X since the 2020 refresh, and lastly, the Model X Plaid was $119,990 and is now $109,990. The Model X Plaid is now the price that the long-range Model X used to be. It's also the same price as the Model S Plaid now, where it used to be $5,000 more. This is somewhat confusing considering it's a much larger vehicle with many more features than the Model S, but it somewhat makes sense from a speed perspective. Those wanting the quickest accelerating car on the road want that car and don't want to settle for a Model X even if it's the same price. It's no secret that the Model 3 and Y though, are way more popular than Tesla's premium cars, but now they're finding themselves needing to clear inventory of those vehicles. This could just be because they need to manage their inventory as they ramp up production of those vehicles. It could also be that this is simply a mismatch in supply and demand, but some have hypothesized that they need to get rid of their current inventory in anticipation of introducing Hardware 4.0. For a while, Tesla promised full self-driving capability would come without a hardware retrofit, but that promise was made years ago, so of course they are updating the hardware in newer Teslas. They say this one won't be necessary to run FSD and that they won't be offering a retrofit. During a conference call, Elon Musk said the cost and difficulty of retrofitting Hardware 3 and Hardware 4 is quite significant, so it would not be, I think, economically feasible to do so. Tesla received approval to ship the Hardware 4.0 computer on the Model S and X, and shortly after that the new hardware was leaked. On February 15th, @GreenTheOnly posted photos of it on Twitter. We learned that certain models are already being produced with this computer, likely the Model S and X, but they hadn't shipped yet. Multiple photos of the new unit also showed that this is a totally different form factor than Hardware 3.0, confirming that a retrofit isn't possible. The most important takeaway from that leak, though, is that there were 12 fully populated camera connectors, with one marked spare. We've yet to see additional cameras, but the new cameras themselves, the units, have been spotted on the Model S and X in February by the Kilowatts at Tesla's factory lot. The new lenses were much larger, and it was confirmed to be the new hardware when GreenTheOnly ran the VIN. We were hoping to hear more about this on Investor Day, but they did not talk about this or the refreshed Model 3 at all during that event. So with this new hardware introduction on the way, we thought that they might be lowering prices to clear inventory before they introduce that on the Model S and X, but it appears that those price drops are here to stay regardless. First deliveries of Model S's and X's with Hardware 4 have begun. Jason Clinton took delivery of his 2023 Model X, and it includes the updated cameras, computer, and reportedly radar. Apparently this includes the new codenamed Phoenix radar that Tesla is adding back into their vehicles. He posted a bunch of great photos showing the cameras, and we can see that they are definitely updated, but there are no additional cameras themselves. Also, over in San Francisco, the Kilowatts spotted a new Model S in their showroom with Hardware 4, and this is one of the first production Model S's we've seen since they've added the option for a round steering wheel. Overall, the wheel looks great and will be a welcome option for many buyers, but it still does not include a regular horn. To me, this is ridiculous and something they need to prioritize, especially since Elon Musk claimed that they'd add a normal horn to this car through a firmware update. Many think they delivered that feature because they said they would, but they still have not, even though it was talked about a full year ago. To me, it's another example of why you should never buy a product for the promise of a future update. This car does not come with a normal horn, and unless you take delivery and see that the horn works like normal, don't count on that feature coming, regardless of what Elon says on Twitter. As for the horn design itself, just yesterday I was driving in a parking garage with the Plaid Model S, going down a center spin, so my yoke was upside down. Someone pulled right out in front of me without looking at all. I slammed on the brakes, but I had no chance of grabbing the horn to alert them, since it was a touch-sensitive button now sitting upside down below my left hand. These are situations that point out how necessary a normal horn is. In any case, the Kilowatts also saw Hardware 4.0 on this Model S, and even got some samples of what the cameras look like. They are much better quality than before, both to the eye and in resolution, but I'm most curious to see how different they look out on the road. I'm also curious to see if they're starting with the same camera locations that they have right now with updated cameras, and then have more space in the computer to add more cameras in the future. Tesla is definitely making improvements here though, and their biggest concern, inventory-wise, may relate to the Model 3 and Y before they make this Hardware 4 change. Tesla is discounting Model 3 and Y inventory in Europe. In inventory there are a lot of models coming out of Giga Shanghai that are now reportedly discounted as much as 6 or 7% compared to configured orders. Troy Teslike reports that Tesla has reduced the price of unsold cars in Europe by 6%. These are not showroom cars. These are normal imports from China that have no buyers yet. He included a screenshot of Tesla's inventory page. These discounts are in addition to the worldwide price cuts we just talked about, and these excess cars are likely being shipped from Giga Shanghai for reasons I'll talk about in a minute. Overall, with all of these price decreases, they are great for future customers who need to be able to afford these cars. They also make the Model S and X more competitive for Tesla, as these are very expensive cars. At the same time though, it's unfortunate for recent customers who just bought at higher prices, and unfortunate if you were hoping that your Tesla would appreciate and resell higher than when you bought it. Their price drops affect the used market as well as new each time they make a change. Next up today, Tesla's Supercharger network is constantly expanding, and in February they announced they were officially opening them up to non-Teslas. V3 Superchargers are currently capped at 250 kilowatts, and only some of them include the Magic Dock that allows CCS charging, but they are beginning the process of opening those up to other EVs, with a goal of 7,500 total open by the end of 2024. One big concern is how, on a basic level, these chargers will actually reach other EVs with charge ports in other locations. They solved the connector issue with the Magic Dock, but Supercharger cables are short. At Investor Day, they mentioned that V4 chargers have longer cables, and now we're seeing their first installs of these chargers. Over in Europe, Tesla was spotted deploying their first V4 supercharger, and it's a bit bigger than V3 chargers based on these comparison drawings from Tesla. In person though, while still covered and under construction, we can see just how large these are. It also seems like all V4 superchargers will have a Magic Dock in a slightly different form than they are shipping on V3 stalls. Based on Tesla's drawings, the cable will be on the outside of the stall, making it much longer than before. Then, considering that, and seeing these stalls being constructed in Europe, really shows us that these cables will be much longer than before. This should help with certain charging complications, but it's likely still not going to allow a truck with a front charge port to back in. We'll probably still see issues there, and I'm curious to see how Tesla works this out as they open up more chargers and introduce V4 superchargers in the US and elsewhere. This week as well, we saw an electric motorcycle charging at a supercharger for the first time. Reportedly, this bike has a 22.5 kilowatt hour battery and can do fast charging, but this owner said they were only able to get 7 kilowatt charging speeds. That's around a third of what they normally get on this bike and far slower than Tesla's peak 250 kilowatt rate at this station, so it could be the charger still trying to figure out EVs and seeing its first electric motorcycle. Worldwide, Tesla seems to be getting more and more popular. Globally, the Model Y was the best-selling vehicle by revenue in 2022, and demand for that car in the US is only increasing, especially with those price cuts. In China, though, sales are telling a little bit of a different story. In October last year, Tesla cut Model 3 and Y prices by 5 to 9%, and in January, they cut them again by another 5.7 to 13.5% on the consumer level after subsidies. The goal of this was to boost sales there after year-over-year sales had decreased with the introduction of new competition. This effort seems to have been successful because in February, Tesla sold 74,402 vehicles, which was a 31.65% increase from February 2022 and a 12.6% increase from January. At the same time though, BYD, their main competitor in China, sold 191,664 vehicles in February. According to data from China Merchants Bank International, Tesla's market share in China's new energy vehicle sector decreased to 9% in February from 10% a year earlier, while BYD's market share increased by 10%. So while Tesla's sales are increasing as a short-term result of slashing prices, they aren't quite keeping up with China's domestic-based BYD, according to reports. In response to this, Tesla is increasing exports from their Shanghai factory to keep up with their new production goals. Instead of those new vehicles going to buyers in China, they have started exporting to Thailand, where they recently opened the country's first supercharger. As I mentioned earlier, it appears they are also discounting exports from China to Europe of the Model Y and 3. Tesla's stock has increased significantly in recent months, which could be a result of this increase in sales in China, but it's starting to level out. At Tesla's Investor Day, Tom Zhu, head of global manufacturing, talked about the company's demand concerns in China. He said, "As long as you offer a product with value at an affordable price, you don't have to worry about demand," and added that the recent price cuts generated huge demand, more than we can produce, really. This is only somewhat confirmed by Tesla's China website. According to an Inside EVs study as well, Tesla's global EV demand appears to be stagnating. From January to February, their order backlog stayed about the same. It looks like we're seeing increased demand in the US, decreased demand in Europe, and demand staying about the same in China. Hopefully, Tesla is able to figure out how to compete with local EV makers in China soon, because that is their second largest market outside of the US. Likely, a lot of these changes will just come with further price cuts and price reductions on the manufacturing side. Last up today, some updates from other automakers. At Ford, production of the F-150 Lightning stopped in February due to potential battery issues. That stop shipment and production pause was initiated after a vehicle displayed a potential issue during one of the company's pre-delivery quality inspection processes. But the root of that issue has been identified and it did not warrant a recall. Now it's expected to re-enter production on March 13th. That's good news for current order holders as they'll start getting their orders fulfilled again soon, but it doesn't mean much if you're still trying to put your order in. Ford's F-150 Lightning website says due to high demand, the current model year is no longer available for retail order, so they have a lot of catching up to do here. Over at Toyota, they've partnered with BYD to bring out the BZ3X, which came off the assembly line in China this week. The most notable thing about that EV is that it starts at just over $27,000 and deliveries are expected soon. This is Toyota's second BZ vehicle after the BZ4X. This car is built on the same eTNGA platform as the BZ4X, but BYD manufactures the LFP battery, motor, and electric control system, which gives it a range of 372 miles or 600 kilometers WLTP. As we just talked about with Tesla, China's EV market is particularly competitive with BYD partnering with Toyota here, NIO, XPeng, and others all trying to expand their market there. We'll have to see how this BZ3X does, but it does sound compelling for the price tag alone. The real question is it profitable, and will they be able to scale up? Ultimately as well, we're excited to see these vehicles expand beyond China. Over at VW, they are planning to take their best-selling SUV, the Tiguan, and make it electric. Quote, the ID Tiguan is slated to play a vital role in VW's strategy until its flagship Trinity EV goes into production. They plan to have this in production by 2026. They also updated the ID3 that's already in production, making some facelift changes to the exterior and a number of small changes to the interior. Then for their Scout brand, they are planning to build an entirely new plant in the United States to manufacture those adventure EVs themselves. Originally, they were talking about partnering with a third party to make these vehicles, but now they're planning to make them themselves in the United States. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see the leaks that came from Tesla at Investor Day, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.